We're gonna do a song that you never heard before. The volume.
Hear the drummer get wicked. Here we go again.
Ace Kennedy, my brother from another mother.
What's going on, man?
Yo, I got a question for you, bro. And I don't know if we this one was I just thought about this one. So I saw some more details about the whole Jonathan Majors and the allegations and all that other stuff about him, right? And the one thing that I think that was pretty interesting is that I also saw that the person who they had as the main person that was coming about of these particular charges recanted, you know what I'm saying, that particular statement, didn't want to press charges, didn't want to have it said it was nothing, basically, right? And not just that, it was Jonathan Majors who actually called the police. That they called 911, right? So my question for you is this, right? I have took your advice to be slower to judge and not just jump out the window, right? But at the same time, there are, he had some sponsors that he ended up dropping. He was doing something like a voiceover, I believe, for like the Texas Rangers. He was doing something with the Army, which, to be honest with you, with it being the Army and all the recent stuff that's been happening out there in Fort Hood, I can see why for them, regardless, it just wouldn't be a good look. My question for you is this. We always talk about in the Marvel Cinematic Universe with his the big role outside of Creed, the big upcoming one was going to be his role in these new Marvels, though, man. So my question for you is this something that, even given that the girl recanted her statement and that the details seem to favor him, is it too much damage done, or what do you expect Marvel to do, seeing that they didn't recast T'Challa, they didn't do any of that? I was wondering, in light of that, what were your thoughts? Because you're more behind the scenes about stuff like that than I am. So what would be your thoughts on how Marvel would move forward with that, though?
Marvel can't do anything just yet. The problem is the details that's hurting Jonathan Majors. When it originally came out, like you said, it was saying that the young lady recanted her statement. There was even some text messages that came out that basically said, like, look, I told the police you ain't do nothing. And, we know the laws where they're at basically means somebody has to get arrested. The lawyer even said that, look, this is going to be taken care of fairly quickly because we have video evidence, we have witnesses, we have all this other stuff. So the DA is going to be on the DA's desk, and boom, he should be straight. And here it is a month later, and the charges are still standing. His PR firm has left him. His management has left him. He has lost 2 movie roles. He has lost the Army thing, like you said. He has lost the Texas Rangers thing, like you said. Now, saying all that to say, just because these people are dropping him, that doesn't mean that he's guilty.
Sure. Okay.
All it means is that for right now, the court of public opinion, he's losing. The part, and I'm fine with all of that, because again, once you're deemed innocent, then you will gain those things back, hopefully over some time. He is in a bunch of things Marvel, with him being Kang the Conqueror. So there are a lot of things that he's in. Obviously, the Loki season coming up, and then he's debating. He is Kang.
Right.
The part where I feel like we're going to lose him is because there have been there was more women that have come out saying that they were abused by him. So that's the part where I'm like, man, kick a brother when he's down. And again, if here's the thing, if he did those things, we got to treat him the same way we did Tory. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But if he didn't, and these and people are just piling on him, that's where I have an issue. But like I said, with all of the people leaving, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's guilty. It just means that, hey, your block is hot right now, and we ain't trying to have our block hot. So
See, this is the word where this is one of the things that I am kind of what makes me nervous about him, right? Because this almost makes me think about Nate Parker, right? Except that Nate Parker's that he was basically accused of raping a female student. This was years ago, right? And this came back after. I think this is like in they said the late 1990s that this happened with him. And then basically they essentially found that he was found not guilty, right? While the other person was found guilty, like it's I don't know I don't know how to say that. It's like I don't know if it's entrapment, false statements, or whatever. But I think that somehow I think that the woman I don't know what happened with that whole thing, but he was eventually found to be not guilty. But he's never quite recovered because he had put out Birth of a Nation. And he was on. Everybody was like, "Oh yeah, he is on his way." And this was one that was going to be a contender for Oscars and everything like that, though, bro. And then it's just like, even though he was found to be not guilty, and he wasn't nowhere near. I don't think anyway, nowhere near in the high caliber quality of films that Jonathan Major has been so far. But even then, he was going to be a Jonathan Majors, and he never recovered from it, though, bro. He had a movie that I believe that was on a Netflix movie that was pretty dope movie, actually, about when they were taking over the police force because somebody killed his son, and a police officer killed his son. It was a dope movie. But it's just interesting to me, though, bro, that I'm just wondering, is this something that he can recover from, though?
Only if all of the charges get dropped can he recover, because he had, like we talk about on the podcast, winning cures everything, right? So all he would have to do, the stuff gets dropped, and then he starts winning with the roles that he's playing with Kane, like out here killing it, right? Because he's playing different personalities with the character, so he's stretching his range. So if he started winning with Marvel, then the projects would come back. But unfortunately, like I said, with the latest allegations of more women coming out, that's the part where I'm just like, I just kind of grit my teeth because so
this is where I look at. I think the thing that I would be bracing for is if more women are coming out and there are any criminal charges, like if they're saying this was like here's my thing. With the more women that come out, I would have to know more of the details about what they're saying, right?
Well,
because
his trial, I didn't mean to cut you off, but his trial is coming up on May the 8th. So that's when his first. So that's with
the recent thing, though, but not the old stuff.
This is with everything.
See, I didn't think that. So I didn't think that. Okay, I thought that he would be heard because of the recent filing. Like I said, somebody has to get arrested in that scenario. The recent one that she said about the whole assault thing. But I didn't think that you could just start to, maybe because she said she didn't want to press charges, she recanted her statement and everything. I thought that it was only the one who was his current girlfriend. I just didn't think that then maybe it's whoever's the prosecutor can then go back and bring in all these other ones by the drove.
Because here's the thing, right? The way they're looking at it, the way the text messages read to some people is that it is abusive language. Like it's one of those things like, I'm fearful of the repercussions if he, once he's released, that, I have to make it look like that I'm trying to get him out. You know what I'm saying? It's so, it's an interesting case. And I say, just like how I did with the Tory and the Meg Thee Stallion case, I need to see more information before I can make a judgment. And so I would love to see what the results of the May 8th situation is, so that we can get more clarity on what's actually being presented. And because the thing is that I'm just wondering, like, if they had this video evidence to prove that that wasn't the case, or whatever the case may be, because there was even reports that old girl went out to the club later on that night. And so there was, just a bunch of different things, stories that are coming out. I would love to see the actual facts come out towards it, and hopefully it's in his favor, because I would love to see him in more stuff.
Yeah, so that is kind of interesting too, because I did see that that footage of her, and of course it was TMZ who collected it, but the TMZ had the footage of her dancing in the nightclub that the night that actually happened though, bro. But this is my thing though, right? If that part goes away, does all the other girls then become moot? Like if the charges are based off of this one, but they're using the old stuff as supplemental evidence as far as why this person should be charged, and the current one,
because it really depends on what the statute of if they can use it still, like if it's the statute of limitations is still available. So it's one of those things that you just kind of have to be patient, because I don't, like I said, I don't know. Go ahead.
I'm just sitting here thinking, right? If somebody came back and said, yeah, man, 10 years ago, man, he did try to strong arm me, you know what I'm saying, for the cakes, like, or what? I'm just kind of, I don't know, man. Like, that's just,
they're using all of this old stuff for everybody else. So I don't see why right now they wouldn't use it again in this particular situation.
That's true. Hey, man, let's get that music going, bro. Is it too late? You want to just jump right into it?
Let's get it, bro.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
And I was watching. This is real quick. Watching NFL Live, right, on ESPN, and then Adam Schefter we got breaking news. Aaron Rodgers has been officially traded. Listen, this in the grand scheme of things, right? What is that? What does the Aaron Rodgers trade mean to you, bro?
Absolutely nothing. Like, we've heard this story 2 months ago that he was signing with him before he went into the cave. So it's like it's not breaking news. It's just okay. He finally signed.
It's official. I thought that as a Bears fan, the way that he's been whipping up on your team for almost 15 years, and now it's a sign that your division is more wide open. Because if all you got to worry about is Kirk Cousins at quarterback, I would imagine that if you get Justin Fields better protection, that opens up your possibility of you taking a division.
That's not what, but I'm not concerned about the division though. I'm concerned about the Super Bowl. So my thing is, I want to build a solid team to be able to compete. And the thing is even if Aaron Rodgers was there, we still should be able to compete at a high level to be able to beat him. I'm not that I understand Green Bay is a classic rival for the Bears, but it's not for me. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things, like, I am more so concerned about my overall team than I am worried about one person. So he doesn't move the needle for me.
Well, let me ask you this then. Who does seem to move the needle for you? NBA playoffs. Them boys, Russ, or not them boys, but Russ and them boys. I think they play tonight, right?
They do.
All right. Let me hear it.
This is the thing. The Suns are beatable. The Suns are beatable with just Russell Westbrook. Have they got it done? No. But I will say this. Here is the silver lining. I do think that the Suns are going to win. I am highly rooting for Russ. I want him to at the end of the day, I want him to play well. I don't care whether they win or lose. I want him to play well. This is the silver lining that I feel that has happened. This series right here saved Russell Westbrook's career.
I
because
agree. I agree with you 1,000%.
right. The
That's
thing
very
is,
honest of you to say, by the way.
what do you mean it's honest? There's nothing I can do.
No. See, when you say, tell me how it saved it.
It saved his career because the public opinion of Russell Westbrook is that Russell has lost a step. That yes, sir.
Time out. I hate to cut you off. But I gotta say this, bro. The sweatshirt look cold, bro. Listen, where's the air horn? I wish I had my air horn on me. Sweatshirt look cold, bro. I'm not gonna even care. Listen, I'm not gonna sit here and let you keep flossing the drip without me at least acknowledging that it's cold, bro. So go ahead and continue, bro. It's cold.
Appreciate
it's cold, bro.
But no, the public opinion of Russ is that Russ has lost a step. He shouldn't be starting. He can't get it done anymore. He's not the superstar Hall of Famer, the superstar player that he was. All of those things, right? And I'm like, did y'all just miss what happened in Washington? Like, we get it. The Laker experience, okay, whatever. I have never, and you can go back and watch the tape, I have never lost faith in Russ. And the stuff that he's doing now is the stuff that I believed he was capable of doing. But when you go to a team that has a system and wants you to play within said system, and then you have yet another team that says, no, bro, we need you to go and do you, right? Where PG lobbied and fought for him to come to this team. And the big question, one of the things that the media did say was that, okay, we at least know whether we get whatever Russ we get, we at least know Russ is going to be on the floor. And here we are in the playoffs when it counts the most, and PG and Kawhi are not there, but Russ is. And not only has he been there, he's been there. And so, like I said,
a game this year, like a playable game. I think it was maybe one.
He probably missed, you know, when that whole Lakers stuff was going on, he missed some games.
Yeah.
But, you know, people, of course, the behind the scene politics was that he didn't want to come off the bench and all, you know, all of that other stuff. But at the end of the day, like the team, he's put teams on his back before, and he's showing that he's still capable of doing it. So when I say it saved his career, he should be looking for a decent payday once the season is over. And I can see even the Clippers wanting to retain him, because the Clippers the Clippers have a decision to make on what they're planning to do with PG and Kawhi.
Here's what I think. If I'm the Clippers, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So for starters, I do agree with you on the Russ. I guess I look at it to say, I look at it a couple ways. For starters, I fully expect today that if the Clippers lose, Russ is going to go out banging. So I'm expecting Russ to have at least 35 points. I'm expecting Russ to probably have a triple-double. I'm expecting for Russ to go ahead and let his nuts hang and say, if we going out, I'm going out throwing them things. And so I fully expect Russ to be the better version of Russ. I think that the part that I'm blown away by is, I know that you said that before, y'all are not coming with the apologies with the same energy that y'all did the Russ slander. I think that what's even more so crazy to me about that is that nobody's pointing out that while Russ hasn't been balling out, it's the efficiency that he's been doing it. His shooting has been better. Even on the nights where his shooting was off, it was the other thing. So it's like people are like, oh yeah, Russ has been playing out his mind. Yeah, but they'll say, oh, Russ been playing out his mind. But it's like, no. I need you to be more specific, right? I need you to talk to, because everybody was talking about the knock on Russ has always been the turnovers. When he was with the Lakers, he had a bunch of turnovers. Now, truth be told, when he was with Washington, he had high turnovers as well. The expectations weren't as high, and you saw the triple doubles. But now, right, he's getting it done, and he's not turning the ball over at that high rate that he did. His usage rate, his plus minus is just so much higher that that's the problem that I have with it, right? It's like you talking when it was fun to poke fun at Russ play when he was trying to get things right with the Lakers, but now that he is on his stuff, he back on his stuff. It's like, come on, now I need you to be very detailed with these compliments now if you're gonna give them. So,
well, and here's the other thing too, bro. A lot of people that I've seen online in my post specifically, they move in the goalposts, right? Like, oh, 4 games don't mean that you play well. Like, bruh, stop. Like, you're moving the goalposts, man.
4 games do. And here's how you can tell 4 games matter. 4 games matter because look at Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's a whole different guy in the regular season than he is in the playoff. 4 games matter. And when people say that, right, this is a problem. And I don't fully expect for every sports fan to be a sports player, to have played a particular sport. But when you say something like that, it almost made me think that you've never been on a team, not a basketball team, but that you've never been a part of trying to win something. I've never played soccer a day in my life, though, bro. Right? But if I came to one of your soccer matches and y'all always played y'all soccer games on the days of our basketball games, so I never got to see you actually play. But if I do come to one of your games and I see a dude who scores 3 goals, and every time I come to your game 4 games in a row, and you was like, I don't know what he doing because he ain't scored a single goal the whole time, the whole season. And I'm thinking like, well, damn, he on the road now. Like, I don't know what he did before, but right now it's mattering though. So it's like you can't sit there and tell me 4 games don't matter. 4 games do matter, and I don't care what stretch. It's 4 consecutive games matter to me though, bro.
Yeah, but so what do you think the Clippers should do about?
You got to run it back.
Year?
I think that this is the way I look at it. So I'm going to be honest with you. I think you bring back Russ, right? And I think that I would probably sign Russ to a 2-year deal, right? I think that I think for the rest of his time, he's going to sign 2-year deals because I just think that I think that like CP3, right? He's just on a year to year kind of deal with the Suns now. So I think that Russ signs a similar deal. And because listen, Russ isn't the problem with the Clippers. The problem with the Clippers is the availability of Kawhi and playing with PG. They have not, since they've had all of those guys together, finished an entire season, right? So I think that that's outside of Russ. PG and Kawhi hasn't finished the whole season with those two, and those were the core of your guys. So I don't think that the Clippers are bad. I think that the Clippers could have beat with Paul George and Kawhi. I think the Clippers could have beat the Suns with Russ. So I think you at least run it back because you see that Russ gave you a taste of what his contributions could do for you in the playoffs and when you do need them. So I think you run it back, but I think that the questionable part is that do you want to keep riding this Kawhi, load managing Kawhi, only available for half the season? That's the part that I think that's the questionable part. But I do think you got to run it back. I think you run it back with him, though, bro.
Especially with Paul George. That was a freak accident. He stepped on Lou Dort's leg and his knee buckled. Like, that was something you could see. The problem with Kawhi is because people didn't see the injury. So for them, it's superficial. You know, they can't believe it because they didn't see it. Even though he has the backing of the medical staff that's like, nah, he can't go. What needs to improve with the Clippers is the bench. The Morris brother ain't been there. He ain't been doing nothing. Unfortunately, for some reason, Ty Lue doesn't really care for Covington, even though I think he's dope. But you're probably gonna keep Bones Highland. You're probably gonna keep Man. And you're gonna keep
Plumlee. I like Plumlee as a backup center.
He's been okay. He has not been spectacular by
as a backup center.
Yes,
the expectations are lower. So I like when he comes in, his contributions though.
Bro. Yeah. I'm cool with that. And then Norman Powell has been amazing. I told you how I feel about Norman Powell. That's my boy. So they got some pieces, but there's some things that can be replaceable. So I just think
I agree. But I think at the end of the day, you don't really know if what you have work because you've never seen it in totality. You've never seen a whole list. All you've seen is a wish list to say, oh, this would be nice. We should, but you never actually get to see what your team looks like at full throttle. And here's the thing. Even if Kawhi, if you basically say, well, we saving Kawhi for the playoffs, right? He plays, let's say Kawhi plays 40 games, right? 40 games, right? So then my thing is that if he 41 games, that's half the season. He gets to the playoffs, right? And because he was turning up when he was out there on the playoffs, though, right? And I'm thinking, like, are you cool? Because then it's not even about. There's no way you can play without Kawhi full season and get a top seed. Maybe you just can see that, hey, if we good with 4, 5, if we just get in the playoffs, if you feel like we're so good that we could just beat anybody, it don't matter who we play with, that's fine. But I think that it goes back to team chemistry. Like you got to build that with everybody out there, though, bro. I just don't see how you do it.
Yeah, I understand that. Like I said, this is tough for me because it's like you see how hard Russ is playing. Matter of fact, you hear Chris Paul talking about how great he is, Kevin Durant talking about how great he is, and they're playing against this man currently. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
just it's the fact that these NBA players have to come out to defend Russ is what's sad about the media, because it's like y'all are really out here running a narrative, and especially like I cannot stand Flip Payless, bro. Him and you know what disappoints me about Shannon, bro? I thought about it because I get it. Flip is the one that's saying this stuff, but Shannon, I think the reason why I have such an issue with him is because he talks about his grandmother a lot. You know what I'm saying? And he talks about how she's instilled stuff in him and stuff like that. So I know, for as old as he is, his grandmother has talked about how important a name is. And the fact that he doesn't check Flip on calling Russ that, I feel that's what gets me, because I'm like, bro, that's another black man. But then it's not only that, you know how important a name is. You can talk basketball all day long. Talk basketball, you can say how many turnovers he has or whatever. Don't call that man out of his name, because you wouldn't do it in his face. Or if you did, you would be in a position that Russ couldn't reach out and touch you. And so that's my thing with Flip, man. And that's my thing with Shannon, is that check him, bro.
I see what you're saying. I guess I understand it. I just don't. I guess I don't agree nor disagree. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm somewhere in the middle on that one, though. But I do think things that there are narratives, right? Because here's what's funny. I think that Shannon's issue with Russ was just that Russ is now on the Lakers. That's his team with LeBron. Not even that he was a Lakers fan, but there. It's the same way he said that. Yeah, AD said that. Yeah, he said that he was at the game, and AD's dad was like, "Yo, my son told me that it does, and he hear you when you saying that, but he keep it basketball, right?" I think that Shannon usually keeps it basketball with Russ, not anything personal. He's maybe right, but so I get that, but I don't know, man. I guess I don't know where I feel on that. I know how I feel about Russ, but in saying that an analyst, what they say about Russ, it may be unfair, and I'm cool with calling something unfair, but the name calling, I think that's just, to me, part of media, though, bro. Like you call AD not, paper mache.
I call him paper mache. You're absolutely right, but I keep it a stack with all of them. What I'm saying is, the platform we have and the platform that doggone Flip has is the issue, right? Because my thing is that Russ has come out and said that he doesn't appreciate that. So when that man says that, again, if you just keeping it basketball, what that tells me, you have nothing relative to say basketball wise that you can't do without calling names. That's what I'm saying. Because
I don't disagree with. I don't disagree with that part.
I can talk about Anthony Davis and not call him paper mache. That's just the thing.
I heard somebody on TikTok said that they call Anthony Davis half man, half a season, and I fell out laughing, bro. But I think that's Kawhi Leonard more than anything. If he doesn't play back to backs, and he's really, here's what I am wondering, though, bro. Let's just switch gears here.
Yeah.
I am wondering how this whole load manager thing is going to work when next season you have to play a certain number of games to qualify for some of these awards, because a lot of these awards, in terms of All NBA, MVP, Defensive Players of the Year, all these incentives that players get are based off of them winning these particular accolades. And if you are no longer able to qualify for those awards because of the games played, then I wonder what players are going to do then. Are we going to see less of this load management, or are you going to see people then load managing to the minimum? If you say, hey, well, it's required for me to score, for me to play in 61 games, so I'm going to play in exactly 61 and load manage 20. Like, I'm curious to see how that goes.
So typically when I hear load management, people are only referencing Kawhi. They try to act like they're addressing the whole league, but they're only talking about Kawhi. My thing
LeBron?
is this. I don't think that either. I mean, I think that anytime you bring up load management, that word is synonymous with Kawhi Leonard. So for me, I don't think Kawhi cares about the accolade stuff anymore. He's already a 2-time champion. San Antonio and the Raptors. Okay. So he's already a champion, and people act like Kawhi doesn't want to play. That's like the perception is that Kawhi does not want to play. That's the perception.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like, and maybe because Kawhi doesn't say anything that's contrary to it, right? But it seems like it doesn't matter. Like, it seems like a lot of these games to him don't matter. Like, you're right. He got his bags, so he got his money, he got his rings, he a made man. So everything at this point is icing on the cake from afar, right? Somebody would think that. And I just wonder, and his body language, his lack of saying anything just looks like, you know what, it's not that big of a deal if I don't catch this game.
But you mean to tell me right now, when it literally counts, that he wouldn't want to be out there?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I think that he wants to be out there. And
you think he wants to?
I do. I think the problem is exactly what you said, right?
How hurt is he though? That's my problem. Nobody knows how hurt he ever is.
Right. So the problem is it's because he refuses to comment on it is why people have the perception of what they want is what they have. So
then I think that maybe Kawhi doesn't respond, doesn't comment on it, and people form their opinions, and then Kawhi doesn't care about your opinions.
And I'm perfectly fine with that.
Cool. I guess I'm okay with it, but I'm also okay with people forming their opinions based off of him not elaborating on it.
As a matter of fact, I think I'm more cool with the fact that he doesn't say anything. That makes people even more infuriated.
I can't lie. I kind of hate it.
I know you do. I know you do, and that makes me happy.
I want to. This was funny. I hate it because I want to like Kawhi so much. Right, I want to like him so much, though, bro. But that makes me not like him more than what I do.
I like him a lot because it's like, to me, when he gets out there and does the things, like when he was out there going toe to toe with Kevin Durant, bro, you ain't gonna see LeBron out there trying to do that. Like LeBron, it would be like it would just so happen that LeBron would end up on KD, not like he's seeking him out.
But not at this point, though, man. Not right now. I think back in those days.
Is he on the court?
Because even when
is he on the court? Okay, so then I don't want to hear no excuses about.
I get that. Don't get me wrong, I get that. But I'm saying when you go back and you look at those Warriors and Cavs highlights, every time Kevin Durant would hit them big shots, LeBron was guarding. He came down, pulled up three right in front of LeBron's face. LeBron was on him. But I think that I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I just don't think that. I don't think that it's real. My expectations isn't that LeBron is gonna sit in that seat for a full game. Now, here's my thing. If Kawhi sat in that seat the whole game against KD, right, and guarded him and did everything that you're saying, you mean to tell me that then after that was all you had? You couldn't do dog, come on, bro. That's my problem. I didn't see you go down. It's just after the game, they just say you ain't playing tomorrow. Stop playing. Like, no, I kind of got a problem with that, though. I can never see myself being a diehard fan.
Because here's the thing, right? This is what's crazy to me, right? In any other situation, it would be a HIPAA violation to say what's wrong with a person. But now, But now all of a sudden we got to know every detail as to why.
No.
If they say that man ain't good enough to go, then he ain't good enough to go.
Kawhi, you know what makes me mad about Kawhi?
What's that?
What makes me mad, right? And this is what stops me from being a mega Kawhi fan. I'm a fan of his game, right?
Yeah.
But Kawhi Leonard is the kind of person where you save up money and you plan a vacation to go to LA, plan to stay for a couple of days. You got the whole family out there. Everybody pull up with their Kawhi Leonard jerseys, right? And then he don't play in the game, bro. That's the kind of player Kawhi Leonard is to me, bro. That's the problem that I have, bro. And it's just like, I'm not gonna lie, I can't think of another player in the NBA that would do that, though, bro. He's the only one that
Anthony
I think
Davis?
would just. Anthony Davis will do it because of injuries, right? And at that point,
Ain't that the
I
same
could be
thing?
mad.
Kawhi?
I could get mad that you got injured or that you be injured so easily, right? But I can't
Ain't that
be.
what Kawhi Leonard doing? He injured.
No, he's not injured though, bro. He doesn't show up on the injury.
Now he's not injured.
He doesn't
Dude,
show
come
up
up.
on. No, he doesn't show up on. He doesn't show up on the injury report until the day before the game, bro.
Because they're
There's a
waiting till
report.
the last minute, right?
No, right, but that's my thing. I saved up all my money. I done got my family out here to watch him play $300 a ticket. So now I'm $1,000 in. I got my Kawhi Leonard jerseys going on, bro. I got all this other Kawhi. I got my Kawhi shoes. You know what I'm saying? I'm Kawhi'd out, and I'm coming to the game expecting for him to play, and I find out the day of that he's sitting out because of load management, bro. Like, nah, I got a problem with that. And that's why, as much as I love his game, I could never just be a mega fan of his, though, bro.
Hey, that's why you just become a Russell Westbrook fan. You ain't got to worry about it.
No, I mean, I'm already a Russell fan, bro.
Yo, let's get into this fight, bro.
Oh, my gosh. For starters, did you see Nelly up there with Ashanti, bro?
I did not.
Nelly was there with Ashanti, bro.
Oh, he was at the game with her? I mean,
he was at the fight with her, and then they performed. I think either later on that day or the day before. And listen, part of it, my heart was hurting for Irv Gotti, bro, because she was up there looking fine, bro. Oh, she was looking fine. And Nelly,
bro, he broke his TV, bro.
Oh my God, he was. You know how they be showing them Cowboy fans after the games, and then they go out there, punch the TV or beat the TV. He had to do that, bro, if he watched it. And she was up there looking fine, bro. And Nelly looked like he was just as happy as could be because he knew she was up there looking fine.
Was it like when Carmelo got Lala back?
Did he get Lala back?
For a minute, yeah. Remember when he was at OKC and I told you Lala was at the games?
Oh, man. I never saw. I don't know how he was. I just know that Nelly was there ear to ear, and they looked like that was so. I saw Bow Wow said, bruh, you need to go ahead and wife this girl, bro. Stop playing, though, bro. Y'all look good together, whatever, though, man.
Right.
But anywho, that was one of the things I noticed, though. But the fight itself, though, bro. You know what the fight reminded me of, bro?
What's that?
It reminded me of when I saw Floyd fight Canelo, right? So I'm a fan of Floyd from the standpoint I respect his skill. I usually find his fights to be a bit boring because he's a counter puncher. It's a defensive fight, and it's almost like watching Floyd. It's like trying to appreciate soccer match. How y'all boys go out there all game long and it's a 0-0 and you say it's a good game, right? And I'm like, what the hell? Or like an NFL game where it's a tough gritted 6-3 game, a 9-3 games, it's all field goals. Like, it's not that. That's a Floyd fight to me. But when Floyd fought Canelo Alvarez, I thought that it was the most aggressive I had seen Floyd since he became Money Mayweather, right? But the other part about it too is that Canelo Alvarez wasn't at that time what he is now, right? He became like that beast after that. So I thought that Floyd outclassed him, schooled him, outboxed him because he was more experienced. He was just more everything. So when I watched that fight, though, bro, I just thought that Tank just seemed to just be a better professional than Garcia. That's just what it to me. His preparation was more, his strategy was more. Like Garcia seemed like he just went into the fight to throw them hands, right? And I think that Tank Davis seems like, no, I'm going to school you on boxing, bro. And that's what I thought was dope about it.
So for me, Garcia he abandoned his game plan. And he abandoned his game plan, kind of like what everybody said. You plan to do all of these things until you get punched in the mouth. And that's what happened. Once he got punched and he realized, like,
he can do that.
Yeah, because he went down. Like, that was a clean punch. After that happened, he was more on the defense. He wasn't out there trying to throw them blows like he was in the first couple of rounds.
He punched the aggressiveness out of him.
Knocked his soul smooth out, bro. But I think what got me is the fact that punch radiated, like the one in the ribs had radiated, because like he was up for a minute and then that thing just buckled him. That jump was epic, bro.
Well, the thing I think that was interesting to me is that particular punch, right? When we watched it in real speed, it wasn't like a wind up, right? It was just a stiff right? And so I'm watching it, and Nika's like, that ain't even no hard punch. He shouldn't have knocked him on out. And then when you see the slow-mo and you see all this muscle ripple behind that in slow-mo, it's just like, okay, bro, and listen, and this is the thing I think that was dope. So I think that this is one of the smartest things that I think that I've seen, right? So I think that because Tank Davis, I didn't realize he's so short, bro. He's really little. And while I think that Ryan Garcia at 5'8", he's not staggering tall, but taller, longer reach. I think the thing that was really cool is that when you watch his strategy, right, he was the whole fight up until a certain point where he was baiting him, right, he would always guard him by staying on the outside of his right foot. So the whole time I'm watching him, when he's doing his damage, Ryan Garcia can't really get off any of his punches, his jabs like that, because he's already standing wide of it and it's already punching into his block. And then that means that your left hand is what everybody knows you for. It's the only punch that you got, and you can't just throw all lefties the whole time, though, bro. So I thought that it was smart that Ryan Garcia, and he was so low already that all of those punches, all he had to do was just duck a little bit, and he's throwing over his head the whole time. So I thought that it was just, absolutely, brilliant strategy on the fight. Like, it was just one of those ones where, sometimes just watching some dudes slug it out is all cool, though, man. But I definitely appreciated the technicalities and the little nuances of the strategy for it, though, bro. It was dope. Dope fight. I laughed.
Go ahead. No. Go ahead.
I laughed because there's a dude that I follow on Instagram, not Instagram, TikTok, Keith Lee. Keith Lee always does all the food reviews, and he does the real monotone food reviews and everything like that. Well, he was an MMA fighter as well, and he basically called exactly to the T how the fight was going to go, when the fight was going to stop, and the reasons for the fight. It was to the T, though, bro. And I thought it was incredible, bro.
Yeah, it was. I enjoyed myself, man. I really, really enjoyed myself. But they bet their purses against each other.
I don't think they did for real. I think that they said that, right? But I don't know, because Tank, I think that he made like $6 million off the fight. So that was his biggest payday. I don't know how much. I'm assuming that it had to also been Ryan Garcia's biggest payday as well. If he made $3 million, I don't know that you betting your whole $3 million on that.
Nah, bro.
Speaking of that, I did see though that the game and DC Young Fly bet 100,000 on the fight, right? And initially, I think that he was talking about DC Young Fly was talking about betting about 25,000 on the fight, and the game was like, "Dog, why you acting like you ain't got it like that, though, man? Let's put some real money up." So DC Young Fly responds back like, forget it. Let's go ahead and do it, though, man. And I don't know that it was anything formal. Did nobody hold the money? But I am curious, though, man. If the game did pay that man that 100 bands, that's a tough one.
Friend of the show, gang. The game.
Yeah. So I am curious to see if he did, because the game was like, I would have bet it on Tank, right? But I think that he was like, but all I was left with was Garcia, so I like him, but not as much as I like Tank. So boom, let's go ahead and see. got a question though in the comments. It says, do you think the closest fighter is the ability of Mike Tyson? Who do you think is? Ooh, I don't know.
I don't know who is close to Mike Tyson. I don't think there's anybody like Mike. But as far as like my type of boxing, I think that the UFC has spoiled me to where I do like to see people get the brakes beat off of them. If you get in the ring, I want to see you get knocked out. I'm okay with the skill fight. Like, it didn't bother me to watch this fight, and it was the technical, back and forth that it was. But UFC got me spoiled. I like seeing people get knocked out.
I think that's probably one of the things that I would say as well. I like that in UFC that someone's there to knock you out. And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. There were a few people who I like, but I'm not gonna say that's like Tyson, right? But because Tyson was a heavyweight. And I thought that, to be honest with you, man, like, I know that Tyson Fury is a good heavyweight. Personally, though, man, I liked it. I not liked it, golly. I liked Wilder. And I liked him even before the first fight. Like, I actually liked it. When you're talking about
that's actually
someone
a good
who's
answer.
Fighting to knock you out, I actually liked him. But I've always found, though, man, that that in boxing, to me, right, it's like these days, the weight range of the 135s up to 140, it's like once you get over 150, I just haven't found those particular fights to be as entertaining. So I think that, with that being said, I would probably say nowadays Canelo Alvarez. I like Terrence Crawford. He beat Sean Porter like not that long ago, and it was TKO. It's just weird, man. I'm always I can't really tell, because, see, my problem with boxing has always been that the good fighters don't fight each other. Like, they have their promos that slow down fights and they stall fights and everything like that. So you can't really. Earl Spence is another one that I think is like there's a few that I'm willing to watch. Yeah, Earl Spence rings the hits the radar. Terrence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez, but Tyson, like Wilder, is the only one that I think that reminds me of, though. Yeah,
I agree with
Tyson
Wilder.
Fury. I mean, listen, Tyson Fury did knocked out some dudes. I mean, I'm saying Wilder and Tyson Fury laid out Wilder. So, but I don't know. Deontay Wilder fought to knock you out, though, and that's why I said it. Yeah. And by the way, I like Shakur Stevenson as well, though, man. I thought that he was pretty dope. Now that I'm thinking about it, the more and more I'm thinking about it, there are a lot of guys, but they lightweights, though. The Charlo brothers, they all in that 150 range as well, though, man. I used to think Lomachenko was, and I saw him take an L that just was unexpected. He lost by the card. I don't know, bro. But they don't fight each other like that, though, man.
Bro, I'm so over boxing, bro, now that the UFC is here. I just am. Like, it's so much, like, because here's the thing with UFC, right? I don't have to know anybody in the sport. It don't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if I know you or not. It's the same result. Like, you're going in there to fight.
Although now here's the thing about it. I do like my boy, the Style Bender. I liked him from the very first time I had ever seen him fight. And this is the thing about it. This was wild. I love combat fighting, but I'm like you, though. I'm not like as big of I'm an NBA fan, right? I'm a fanatic of NBA and basketball. And while I'm not a fanatic of MMA or boxing, I love to watch it, but I don't follow. Certain people you can name off a bunch of guys in the UFC, and I'm like, okay, well, are they fighting this week? And are they trying to knock somebody out, right? Like, but I don't follow anyone. But Stylebender, when I first saw him, the very first time, I think I saw him before he was in UFC. liked him ever since then, though, bro. Like I always have rocked with him. So I was happy that he got the that he's getting that look. But I also think that the heavyweights, though, bro, them heavyweight boys in the UFC is trying to get you up out of there, though, bro. So yeah. Them boys is for real, man.
Speaking of getting people out of here, I couldn't help it. I was trying to.
There's so many ways you can go in there because there's a few people getting them out of here, man.
Tucker Carlson and Don Lemons gone.
Listen, man, staples of their. Listen, is this just changing of the guards, changing of the times? Because Tucker Carlson has been, let's say, a staple and has said some outlandish things throughout my entire adulthood that Fox News have basically applauded by giving them the green light to keep going. And the same can be said with Don Lemons, right? Now them actually their reasons for being let go, back end stuff though, right? But I'm just sitting here thinking, like, surely with all the things that they've let these folks get away with, that you think that it's really these back end things that are their undoings, right? Like Tucker Carlson was one of the people who was really driving the bandwagon of the Dominion voter machines not working and everything like that, right? And so then here it is, Fox had to go ahead and pay, right? So Fox pays out $800 million and Tucker Carlson's still there. Everything's all cool, everything's legit, even though he was beating the drum of that whole thing, though, right? He says, like I said some outlandish stuff, and I'm just I am kind of surprised, but I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I fully expect both of those to do something bigger.
Yeah, I think they're gonna start their own. I think they're gonna start their own brand of something because if you're a fan of that person, you're gonna follow them.
Yeah, now they don't have the restraints, they don't have the yellow tape. And so I think that if you thought that Tucker Carlson says some crazy things before, I think that it's true. Like I saw during this time, right? This is what was funny. During this particular time with Tucker Carlson, it came out that he was really talking like, bro, I absolutely hate covering Donald Trump, right? But when you watched it on Fox, you would think everything contrary to it, though, bro. And so I think that it was just kind of interesting that all these text messages that you know what I'm saying, like, they was going like they're really unloading on him, though, bro. And I fully expect, though, man, that like you said, if you are a fan of theirs, I think that Don Lemons will just go to someone else, CNBC, something like that, though, bro. But I think that I can totally see Tucker Carlson basically doing something completely independent so that he can go off and say whatever the hell he want to say, though, bro.
Yeah, I can see that. I think you got the girl he was going hard at. I think, like if another company can look past that, then yeah, they'll pick him up.
Listen, Tucker Carlson was on TV days after it was after it hit the news that a guy shot up somebody who was delivering pizza to the wrong place, right? In Tucker Carlson's last episode on Fox, he's sitting here enjoying pizza, making fun of this, making fun of someone, a black person, basically getting shot for delivering pizza to the wrong. Like I'm saying, like, bruh, like, and he says, "Hey, we'll be back next week," because he fully expected to be back. Like he said, if you supported him up until this point, you're gonna really go hard for him now because he's gonna really say the things and get off everything that he wanted to get off, bro.
Yeah. Like you said, if you're a fan of them, you probably think they were wrongfully let go. And if you didn't like them, you probably are happy that they're gone. So very, very interesting. Especially like you said, for them to be staples for both of those companies. But I definitely think that Don Lemons would benefit a lot from going on his own, doing his own thing. Because most people consume the news. They don't just sit up there and watch the networks anymore. It's they catch clips on YouTube or they watch it from YouTube. So I think that, man, he could really do his thing.
Yo, let me ask you this though, man. This is a separate thing, but we talk about getting let go. So one of the things that's been interesting though, bro, is that Pras from Fuji's, have been in the news here lately because he is basically facing some charges, right? So Pras is basically under investigation for like white collar crimes, I believe. He basically has some where they are basically saying he's trying to flip money, clean money, it seems like, right? So he was basically trying to donate money. You trying to clean money basically into presidential elections. So he was trying to basically donate money. And there was a few. I think that Leonardo DiCaprio got pulled into it and testified even on this Proswell case. But Pras basically was trying to donate money, and in return for that, it would get washed and maybe some other way. It seems like something that you would totally see on a movie, though, bro. But it's Pras, and so Pras was working with a Malaysian billionaire who was mainly involved with helping him trying to help kind of do this whole fraud scheme, basically, though, man. And so one of the things that it kind of came out was China, right? So in this efforts, I guess, to help himself, it kind of came out because Pras is testifying on his own behalf. Comes out that Pras was a volunteer informant to the FBI, apparently. So that seems like when you say, "Oh, he's an informant," you think like, "Wait a minute, informant on who? How far back are we talking about?" And I think that when it comes down to it, he was basically an informant because he was basically trying to voluntarily help the United States with trying to extradite this Chinese billionaire who, was kind of involved in somewhat with this whole fraud and scheme and ring. So basically he was doing dirt with these peoples, but to kind of help himself out, he was trying to work with the FBI to kind of help extradite this Chinese billionaire. I got a question for you though, Ace. With all that being said, is this snitching? Like, is this ratting? Like, according to hip hop and black culture, ratting is when you and somebody is doing a crime and you tell on the other person to get a lesser time or a less harsh sentencing, right? So does this qualify as ratting?
I think if he's living by the street code, then it is. But if he's not, if he is a civilian,
he's a civilian.
If he's a civilian, then I don't look at it as ratting because he is. I have no issue. Me personally, I don't have an issue when it comes. I didn't lose nothing in jail, right? So if I can do whatever I can to help me stay on the outside with my family, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be outside with my family because I am a civilian. I don't govern myself by the street code or nothing like that. So no, I don't consider it snitching.
So if you out here trying to make money, if you out here, right? Let's say you say, "Hey," you said, "Yo, Charlie, I'm working with these people from Malaysia, this billionaire owned out here, and we got this way that if you go ahead and it's a little, I know it's a little dirty, right? It's not completely legal, but this is the way that I can go ahead and get this money up." Whoop-de-whoop. Fast forward, because that it's illegal, y'all get jammed up and you start participating with the police to get at this other guy who you're doing dirt with so that you would get lesser time. You said that that's what you would do. So regardless of what you doing it with him and you know that it's illegal, since you don't live by the street codes of snitches and snitches getting stitches and ratting, you cool with that?
It said lesser time, so I'm getting time.
Yes. So here we go. You help us out. That 10 years you can face, we can get that to you a year. House arrest.
Guess who's gonna be on house arrest?
Listen, bro, I'm not doing nothing criminal with you ever, bro. I'm never doing anything criminal with you, bro.
Charles, the stuff that we used to do back in the day past the statute of limitations, I have never ratted on anybody in our crew.
You've never faced any time.
But my doing is my doing though. Like if I'm the one that gets caught up, then I'm the one that gets caught up. That's how it's been. You've known
We both
me.
know. Listen about that. We both get caught up. But if what my involvement was, we both get caught. But they feel like what my involvement was, was more than yours, worse than yours, even though we were both involved. So for you to get less time, you got to help them by giving them information on me. You dropping a dime on me.
I ain't no, that's what I'm saying. Like you've known me since we were little, and the stuff that we've done in the past the statute of limitation, I ain't never told on nobody.
I'm not. You know what I'll say? I'll tell you this. I'll say this though, bro. If I thought, bro, regardless, if I was gonna go ahead and get 15 years or more. Even, I'm not gonna say that. If I was gonna get anything more than 5 years, right? And they said, if you help us, you'll get a penalty. You'll pay a fine. If you help us get Charlie for these 5 years, then you would only get a year. You get a probation. I would tell you to help them out. I would tell you to help. This is why I think
I think the difference. I think Brown hit it on the point, right? You and I are close, whereas if it's somebody that's just a business associate, I don't know that I'm on house arrest, bro.
Yeah, but even with that said, though, right? Like this is what made I said it because I'm drawing comparison to the YSL and Young Thug, right? Because if they're trying to give me anything more than 5 years, and they're threatening you with the same time. But if you help them, the most you would get, right, is you might be listed as a felon, but you don't have to serve time. You don't have to serve any time. All you have to do is say this, right? Say whatever it is they want you to say, right? And you won't do any time. If I'm going to do 5 years anyway, right, then I'm going to tell you, say whatever them people want you to say, because it does no good for both of us to be locked up.
No, I understand that. But I think the difference, though, is like I said, the YSL stuff is following street code stuff. Whereas if you're a civilian, I'm just like, you're a civilian. Like you don't, those same rules don't apply. Like you might feel a certain type of way, but I have never considered myself a street dude. That's just what it is.
I get that, right? And I'm not saying that I am, right? But what I am saying though is that for me, not even just the street part of it, my personal principle, right? My personal beacon would tell me that if you as my friend, like it does us no good for both of us to be locked up. So
But
if there
again,
was a possibility,
that's a difference because we've had a conversation. So it goes back to me what I felt about T.I., right? When he said his cousin told him to do whatever. If I get the green light to do it, then that's where that it's null and void because I got the green light to do it.
it just looks different. It looks different as a civilian versus you being T.I., a street dude.
It does look different because even though he got the green light, people still look at him funny. But he got the green light from somebody that said, nah, if you get jammed up, this is what you do. So,
yeah.
I don't have an issue with that.
Hey, just real quick though, bro. Whenever you get a second, we're gonna get out of here. But when I'm gonna get out of here and say this, whenever you get a second, it's on MSN right now. But it just popped on up while we was on, and it said a former NFL player gets probation after a Las Vegas hit and run, right? And it says a former NFL linebacker and UNLV player was sentenced to probation in a hit and run case that resulted in a woman being injured, right? When you go and look at this dude's mugshot that's pulled up.
And we didn't even get into the whole thing about the NBA. I mean, about them players getting suspended.
No. I think it's because we missed the last part and then it just kind of jumped over. But listen, but when you look at this dude mugshot here, it said hit and run, bro. But it tells me that I looked at it, he looks like he was above whatever the legal limits of if he had to take a breathalyzer for alcohol, bro. I think when you see it, bro, you're going to trip out, bro. He looks like in this picture, he is loaded, bro. He is loaded.
Wait, are you on the regular MSNBC or are you on
I'm on MSN. I'm on MSN, MSN.com.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. When you see it, man, it is it's crazy, bro. You gonna trip out. When I saw it, I said, oh yeah. Probation is like, because he looked like he was loaded. Hey, bro, it's early, man. What you got going for the week?
Man, listen, I'm trying to stay consistent, man. Stay up in this doggone stay in the doggone lab, bro. Speaking of which, them beats that you sent me yesterday, I think I want all of them except for one.
One of them, two. Okay, so two of them. One of them I sent to PBR.
It better be the West Coast beat. If it ain't the West Coast beat, all of them other ones. Which we'll talk offline, because yeah.
Listen, I appreciate y'all for checking in. Shout out to the homeboy Brown for checking in. Listen, I saw the homeboy Billy Tisdale. That's my partner from the borough. I saw my dude Markello as well. On the comments as well, not the comments, but just locked on in. Renata also for always checking in on the boys and them. It's the Slash Brothers. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe. We live on both platforms at the same time. Holler at us in the comments. So after, for all the folks that always watch it on the replay, though, man, Ace Kennedy can be in that music, sir.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast.
Can you dig it, sucker?
Yep.